Namo Amitofo. Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we will continue our tour of Hongyuan Monastery. Right now I'm standing at the entrance of the monastery called the Mountain Gate. So are we ready to step through the Mountain Gate? So exciting, but not yet. A monastery is a Dharma center. All its buildings and facilities exist for the Dharma, otherwise they are meaningless. For example, the name plaques, as well as the couplet plaques and so on, each reflect a characteristic of the Pure Land school. Let's have a look at the plaque in the middle. It reads Hongyuan Monastery, which means Monastery of Great Vows. It refers to Amitabha Buddha's 48 vows or his 18th vow in particular. In other words, accepting the deliverance of Amitabha Buddha varies from all other forms of Buddhist practice. The lineage masters of the Pure Land tradition give precise instructions for interpreting Shakyamuni Buddha's teachings, and they clarify the difference between the easy path and the difficult path, the sagely path and the Pure Land path, the path of self-power and the path of other power, and so on. By the way, when we learn and practice the Dharma, it must be guided by particular lines of Dharma teaching or a school of thought. Such guidelines provide a central system which supports adherents properly and allows them to practice effectively without losing their way. So what makes the Pure Land school so special? The other two plaques, plus those on the opposite side of the mountain gate, provide the answer. Recitation of Amitabha's name according to his fundamental vow. Rebirth of ordinary beings in the Pure Land's realm of rewards. Rebirth assured in the present lifetime. Non-retrogression achieved in this lifetime. These four lines are the special characteristics of the Pure Land school. The first two lines reveal that the source of name recitation is not from us, but from Amitabha's fundamental vow, the 18th vow, and that anyone can be delivered to Amitabha's Pure Land. People often think that they cultivate the practice of name recitation, and that rebirth in the Pure Land is the result of their earnest efforts. In fact, name recitation and deliverance stem from Amitabha himself. Believing we are capable of cultivation is like believing that a drowning man is capable of rescuing himself. We should let go of such thoughts and simply fall into the embrace of the Buddha's infinite light. Then there are those worried that the Buddha will not deliver them because of their heavy karmic obstructions. Please, you don't have to worry about Amitabha rejecting you. A simple analogy should illustrate the truth of the matter. Imagine you want to move something from this shore to the other. If you don't have a proper mode of transportation, and then even something as small as a grain of sand cannot make the crossing. But with a large enough vessel, you can even transport an aircraft and it will reach the other shore safely. Once you board the gigantic ship of Amitabha's vow, you will be safeguarded from the cycle of birth and death, no matter how large or heavy your karmic obstructions. When you accord with the power of Amitabha's fundamental vow, you and the Buddha become a single entity. How does this happen? It happens through recitation of Amitabha's name according to his fundamental vow. Now we can enter through the mountain gate. Shall we do it together? Let's go. Stepping across this boundary is symbolic of leaving the mundane world behind and entering the realm of Dharma where we can learn the path that leads to liberation. It's interesting to note that another name for the mountain gate is the gate to Nirvana. Nirvana is the ultimate state in Buddhism. It is the state of having become a Buddha. If we want to become a Buddha, we must pass through one of Shakyamuni Buddha's 84,000 gates or teachings. However, few people can enter through the Dharma gates of self-power. For the vast majority of us, the only access to Buddhahood is through the gate of Pure Land Dharma, which teaches us to single-mindedly recite Amitabha Buddha's name. Thus, Master Shandao told us in his writings that Amitabha recitation is the gateway to nirvana. The plaques on the two sides of the gate, one reads, "Rebirth assured in the present lifetime," and the other is, "Non-retrogression achieved in this lifetime." This means that, for exclusive Amitabha reciters, the goal of attaining assured rebirth in the land of bliss is accomplished in the present. It's not something achieved at the end of life. Were this not the case, one might get the feeling that a life of Dharma practice is sort of like gambling. But actually, it's more like the modern-day phenomenon of online shopping. After payment, you just have to wait some days for the package to arrive. There's no need to worry about it. In the meantime, the item that you bought is yours. You already own it. You can even decide to return the item if you dislike it once it arrives. In the same way, once you become an Amitabha reciter, you receive all of Amitabha's gifts. But these infinite treasures are beyond compare. You are not likely to seek a refund on escaping the painful cycle of rebirth and certain attainment of Buddhahood. This is actually a critical point that bears repeating. Most people believe that a Pure Land practitioner should diligently cultivate herself in the hope that, at the end of life, she will see Amitabha Buddha coming to receive her. Only then would she know for certain that her rebirth is assured. But according to Master Shandao, one's rebirth is already assured in the course of ordinary life. One's faith and aspiration are manifested through the exclusive practice of name recitation. This profound teaching is well grounded in the sutras and the writings of the Pure Land patriarchs. Now here's a trick question. Why doesn't Hongyuan Monastery enshrine the four heavenly kings? That's because Amitabha recitation is the broadest of Dharma paths and can accommodate every sentient being. Anyone can enter as he or she wishes. The four heavenly kings serve as doorkeepers, as they are usually enshrined in or around the temple gate. With their fierce expressions meant to ward off evil, ordinary people, especially those with heavy karmic obstructions, might feel it is difficult to enter. But in our Dharma school, the heavenly kings don't have to bother about standing sentry and guarding against intruders. Instead, they may be among us practicing name recitation. Let's see what's next. A little way inside the mountain gate stands a giant, treasured quadripod and a tripod cauldron. What do you say? Does it look like a hot pot? Or perhaps more like an incense burner? In ancient times, a smaller version of this cauldron would have indeed been used to cook. As the social hierarchy in ancient China developed, it came to be used as a sacrificial vessel for persons of high status or rank. Later, it became to symbolize a transcendent, universal kingship that unifies the world. In the context of Hongyuan Temple, this cauldron represents the universal Dharma kingship of Amitabha Buddha, as well as his eminent rank and status among all Buddhists. This cauldron is made of bronze, which might last for thousands of years. That way, even if the current buildings and facilities are gone in the future, this quadripod will still stand. People who see it will know about the temple and the essence of our lineage, since this quadripod is inscribed with the most important Pure Land texts. The side facing the Welcome Palace is carved with the text of Amitabha's 18th vow from the Infinite Life Sutra. This text is the foundation for the establishment of the Pure Land school. It can be compared to the root of a big tree or the source of a river. All lineage teachings are ultimately derived from it. The opposite side of the quadripod is Master Shandao's 48-word explanation of the 18th vow. This explanation is precise and explicit. Each word shines like a star and stands solid as a rock. In fact, this text is considered definitive for all times. The left and right sides are the guiding principles and special characteristics of the Pure Land school. For a lineage to be established, it must have specific principles and characteristics of its own, which distinguish it from other schools. In this case, these 8 sentences give a summary of what makes this school and lineage unique. Seeing this quadripod, we should know that the sentient beings of all Dharma realms were already being called by Amitabha Buddha 10 kalpas ago. Do our minds feel settled in this knowledge? Remember, exclusive recitation of Namo Amitabha Buddha is the karma of assurance. Thus, reciters' minds are pacified. Without such recitation, one can hardly obtain mental peace. Well, that about does it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Namo Amitofo.
Nah.